You're listening to Parents, You've Got This, the expert guide to parenthood.
The complete guide to pregnancy, birth, baby and parenthood.
Every year, sadly, over 100 babies lose their life. And it's such a terrible time for families, as you can imagine. Today on the Expert Guide to Parenthood podcast, we welcome the CEO of Red Nose, Keren Ludski, to talk about SIDS and bereavement for families.
Dr. Keren Ludski has her own lived experience of SIDS, sadly losing her son Ben in 1998. This has really fostered her passion for supporting families as best she can, and she shares her wisdom and her experience through her drive and her work at Red Nose. Thank you so much, Keren, for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
It's really lovely to see you. Let's talk about the amazing organisation that is Red Nose, and what drove you and your experience to be involved with it.
As you said just before, I come from having been through lived experience of losing my third child, Ben, to SIDS, and that was in 98. I always say I never thought it was going to happen to someone like me. I'm not sure who I thought it was going to happen to, but it wasn't me. And I realised at the time that there wasn't great support out there for families. So I got involved very early on with SIDS and Kids, which was Red Nose's, the organisation before it became Red Nose in Victoria. And over the years ended up as CEO of Red Nose, which is an organisation that is very much focused on saving as many little lives as we can and providing free bereavement support to any families impacted by the death of a baby or child.
And what a beautiful way to honour him and to keep his memory going. The work that you do is incredible, and I just think that you're amazing, and the work that Red Nose do is. What is SIDS, for those wondering about what it is?
So SIDS is the sudden and unexpected death of a baby during sleep under the age of 1, when after a thorough investigation is done, they can find no reason for that baby having died.
We were lucky enough to have Tiffany Fryatt from Red Nose talking to us about safe sleep. What do you wish that all parents knew about safe sleep for those people who might be listening to today's episode? And, after today's episode, I'm sure we'll go back and look for Tiffany's episode. What is it that you wish that all parents knew?
I think it's such a tricky space for parents, in particular new parents. We see so many products and messages all across social media and beautiful looking nurseries and very pretty products that are on the market. And I think what I wish every parent knew was that the only way that we truly know how to keep the rates of SIDS down is through our 6 safe sleep messages. And one of the key components of that is a really simple sleep space for babies, and that parents don't need all of these products out there. They don't need to feel guilty for not buying them. At the end of the day, what parents need to focus on is a safe space for their baby to sleep for every sleep.
That's so true, and we encourage you all to go back and listen to that episode because it does outline all of the safe sleep principles, which is a safe sleep measure that you can put into place to help prevent the unimaginable. And sometimes, you can have all of those things in place and the unimaginable does happen. As a parent, what do you do if that happens? I guess, like you said, no one thinks that they're going to have that happen to them, but if it does happen, what happens next?
So, by the nature of the way that babies die from SIDS, it is always a coronial investigation where the coroner is involved in trying to find out why this baby, who was otherwise healthy, has died. And that's such a tricky component of the loss experience for parents, because you will have police involved. And for every grieving parent that I've met on my journey who's had a baby die from SIDS, it's been almost the number one jarring added trauma to their loss, because there's only one thing that parents think when the police are involved, and that is that they think, oh my God, they think I killed my baby. And I think there is so much absolute chaos, turmoil going on at that time the added presumption of guilt, adds another layer of trauma. So I guess really important for those supporting parents to know is that all of those feelings that the bereaved parents are experiencing are normal, and they're also incredibly isolating. So just being able to sit and hold the space that said, oh my God, that must be awful, but I'm here, and I'm here for you to talk about it, and I'm here today, tomorrow, and next week, and next month, etc. But I think that's part of the added trauma response to a SIDS death. I think as well that the hospitals across the country, thank God we're not seeing the numbers of SIDS deaths that we saw historically. We know that over the last 30 years we've reduced the rates of SIDS by 80%.
Wow.
And when we talk percentages, it's like, okay, that's good. When you translate that to how many babies wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for the Safe Sleep campaign, at last count it's 12,069. So I look at that and I think that's 12,069 families that have to go through what my family did. And I think that's important that because the health professionals aren't seeing the SIDS deaths as often, that we make sure that they're as equipped as they can be to support those families when they do come through the hospitals as well.
Yeah, and you've got lots of support at Red Nose. So would people know just to call you, or like if their baby does pass away, or do the health professionals encourage them to call you? What happens if you're in hospital or if you're at home?
So what tends to happen is that the hospitals will let the families know about Red Nose services. They may do a referral on behalf of the hospital, on behalf of the families, and let the families know that they've done that. Otherwise, the families can self-refer themselves. Often the referrals will come after families have seen GPs, etc. But people can ring our 24/7 line and speak to someone 24/7. They can also jump onto the website and put in a request for someone to call them back. So there's lots of ways that people can find out about the support.
What happens with regard to parental leave in the event that a family lose a baby?
So it's a really big area, and it's always that hot topic of conversation. It does vary across some states and territories, but often the hospital team will talk to parents about what next steps are and give them information. But at a really simple level, parents are entitled to the same parental leave that they would have had if the baby had lived. So whether that's a stillbirth or a SIDS death, while the parents are still on parental leave, that will still be honoured.
And, we all want to say the right thing. And I think if something like this does happen to a friend or a colleague at work, or someone in their family, it's hard to say the right thing. So often we say nothing, which can be worse. What do we say if this does happen?
I wish I had $1 that I could give to Red Nose for every time I got asked that question, because I think at an absolute fundamental level, people want to know what to say. They want to say the right thing. They want to show that they care. They want to show that compassion and empathy, and they're so nervous about saying the wrong thing that they say nothing, or they say those really trite one-liners that are so hurtful and unhelpful. So some of my key tips are, if you don't know what to say, it's okay to say, this is one of those times I'm completely speechless. I actually don't know what to say to you. I'm so sorry and I'm here. And just the tone of that shows parents that we're there. I think being able to sit with the, I don't have words, but I'm here, or I know there's nothing that I can say to make this better, but what can I do for you now? And keeping it really simple. I think the other really important part that we hear from parents over and over again is that their family and friends don't want to upset them. So they don't talk about their babies. So it's like those babies never existed, were never wanted, etc. And there's it's almost like the elephant in the room where let's not talk about it. Parents want to talk about it. They're grieving, and they'll grieve every day for the rest of their lives. Hearing their child's name means the world to them. So don't be afraid to ask. And I think particularly where it's a SIDS baby, where the baby has lived for a period of time. So, wow, I love when people say to me, was Ben rolling, before he died, or was he a chucker, or, did you have problems breastfeeding, or, was he similar to his other brothers? For me, thank you, you remember that, I had another son as well. And for me, who's, a long way down the track now, it warms my heart every single time someone says the name Ben and reminds anyone else who's listening that he's part of our family.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. And I love that Red Nose have Say Their Name Day, where you acknowledge all of those babies that have passed away, or, people that have had miscarriage, because it allows them that opportunity to honour their baby, and for friends to learn more about it, and, send them a text on their birthday and things like that to really make them feel that way. What are some of the practical things that parents can do to help bereaved families?
So interestingly, we often will hear from bereaved parents, I'm so sick of people saying, what can we do to help? We don't know what people can do to help. We just want the pain to stop. So what we'll often say is do practical stuff. Go to the supermarket and drop off a bag of groceries. If there are other children, don't worry about going to pick up the kids from school. I've got it. Your lawn looks like it's overgrown. I'm going to just come and mow the lawn. Or just turn up. Just be there, but also acknowledge that they might say now's not a good time, but thank you, so much. If we continuously ask bereaved parents what they want, it's putting the responsibility on the bereaved parent to come up with the answer at a time when they don't have it. So it might even be, would it be really helpful for me to go and get some shopping for you now? Or would it be really helpful for me to call people, that you want to let know, often with workplaces, etc., going to places for the first time after the death of a baby or child, so hard. So, I remember when I went back to school for my older two, and a friend said to me, when you park the car, ring me, I'll meet you at your car, so we're walking in together, so it won't be everyone kind of at you at the same time. The fact that I remember that,
isn't that beautiful?
So many years later, it was like, and I know that my fear was I'm going to walk in and they're all going to be looking at me going, oh my God, that's the mother whose baby died. And having that person by my side, it was just like, I've got this, it's okay.
What a beautiful friend.
Yeah. To even think that.
Yeah, that's
right.
That's gorgeous. Yeah.
Okay, and thank you so much today for sharing your practical insights and your own experience, so that we can all help each other and we can help those around us that are suffering this, and also for those that do experience it, that they know that there is support there. Red Nose does amazing, tireless work. So thank you, Keren, for being here today.
Thank you, and thank you for having the courage to have these challenging conversations. They're hard to have.
Definitely. I think you do need to assemble your support crew, and Red Nose have the support crew for you. They've got lots of services where you can find other parents that unfortunately have gone through these circumstances, because sometimes just having someone else that have lived your experience and know what that's like can be healing in itself.
Absolutely. One of our key drivers is that it is incredibly lonely to go through the death of a baby or child, but you don't have to do it alone. And that's what it's all about. It's all about connection and belonging, and that community feeling that helps people get through it. So thank you.
Yeah. You've been listening to the Expert Guide to Parenthood podcast, and never forget, parents, you've got this.
Join a Parents You've Got This masterclass today to be prepared, excited and educated for pregnancy, birth, baby and parenthood. Visit www.parentsyouvegotthis.com.au and sign up for a masterclass today.